So we're back for another VGC guide, and this time we are looking at Scrafty. It's got competition in Incineroar, so finding a place for Scrafty on your team is going to be quite difficult. It also has to contend with Single Strike Urshifu. Do you value Intimidate and Fake Out enough that you sacrifice the massive damage potential of a Single Strike Urshifu as well? So Scrafty has a lot of competition. It'll be perfectly fine, don't get me wrong. If you can slap a Fake Out and Intimidate Pokemon onto a team, Scrafty is slappable onto a team. Maybe not as slappable as Incineroar and Single Strike Urshifu though, so you'd really have to have a proper need for Scrafty to be on your team in order to use it, but if it is the perfect 6th Pokemon, that's how Scrafty will find its way onto its team. So Assault Vest is surely the way to go because it's got great special defenses and it wants a lot of offensive moves, so Assault Vest is kind of perfect for it. You get the Terra Poison so that you've got great synergy with your Dark and Fighting. You'll be able to take on those fairies very, very comfortably with the Terra Poison as well. This is an EV spread that I used back in 2019, and it did some nice things, and Incineroar was allowed then, so I trust my past self, and this would be a perfectly reasonable Scrafty moveset, because even max attack can't get an Incineroar with close combat, so there's no point even trying. You might as well just go for the extra bulk instead. Knockoff, close combat, you should basically always have those. Well, in any Scrafty you're using, Knockoff is such good utility while being its strongest stab. Close Combat is its strongest fighting stab, so there's no reason not to run those two moves. And, of course, Fake Out should be mandatory as well. Then, basically, this other move is up to what your team needs. Snarl is a very good move. Like, we all know what Snarl does, being able to reduce the special attack, stacks with the Assault Vest, and pairs with the Intimidate, so you've got damage reduction in defense, attack, stopping the damage to your defense, I should say, in Intimidate, and reducing special attack with Snarl, so it's a really good combination there. This is not a recommended moveset, these are just other moves that could fit into the Snarl slots, because like I said, Knockoff, Close Combat, Fake Out, pretty much mandatory. Upper Hand would mean that you need to speed creep other Incineroars, because Upper Hand, for some reason, has the same priority as Fake Out. They'd have given it +4, Upper Hand would have been a lot more usable, but because it's the same priority as Fake Out, bit awkward. Therefore, if you want to be using it, in order to stop opposing Incineroars that can be going for Fake Out, you'll need to speed creep a lot with Scrafty, which is perfectly fine. Like, you've got that much to match the base speed of Incineroar, so it is entirely doable to speed creep it, but then you sacrifice a reasonable amount of attack to be able to do that in the first place. So, whether that is what your team needs will be team dependent, and also you must speed creep Incineroars with Scrafty if you're going for Upper Hand. Dragon Tail is just good to get rid of Trick Room and all the setup Pokemon as well. That would be just good utility. Like the other moves are basically utility at this point. Acid Spray to be able to help your special attacking partners. Specifically, if you get into Trick Room, this would be much better on a Scrafty. So if you have some kind of special Trick Room sweeper, Scrafty would be able to help them a lot more than Incineroar would be able to by going for an Acid Spray, and then they'd be able to pick up KOs they wouldn't have done otherwise. Similar thing with Super Fang. Super Fang is kind of the same thing as Acid Spray, except it can miss, it can't hit ghosts, but it does help on the defensive side as well because it will be able to half HP. Obviously, if they're at like 40% HP, then Super Fang is a lot worse than Acid Spray is, but Super Fang is good utility. We've seen it on Scrafties back in 2015 when that was used. Super Fang was put on a lot of Assault Vest Scrafties so it could just do consistent damage, even without the highest base attack stat instead. Another alternative Scrafty, it doesn't have to be Assault Vest because now it's got access to Helping Hand. Just like Incineroar now has Helping Hand, Scrafty now has Helping Hand. Fake Out and Helping Hand is a very good combination to help enable setup Pokemon because you can go for Fake Out and Setup on the first turn, and if you're not quite strong enough to be able to KO them, Helping Hand will be able to push that KO over the edge. So, very good combination there. If you don't have the Assault Vest, then you've got room for a Citrus Berry. That'll be the best item for Scrafty just to increase its longevity, because its bulk is fine, but its HP is a little bit low, so Citrus Berry will patch that very nicely. And again, this is not a recommended moveset. These are moves that can be put in place of Helping Hand if you do not think you need Helping Hand on your team. Coaching is something that Incineroar can't do. Going to be able to boost up the attack and defense of your partners. It's a bit slow. Again, probably should be in Trick Room to go for the coaching. It would work in a similar way as the Acid Spray, but it's probably a bit too slow to just go for coaching without Trick Room, because you ideally want to coaching and then attack so you can benefit from the attack boost. But it'll still be worthwhile otherwise to increase the defenses. Encore, you're going to be able to lock Pokemon into things like Protect, or if they try to get fancy and go for any kind of setup, you can just lock them into Encore on turn 1. That'd be quite nice. Taunt is good, like pretty much self-explanatory. You stop any kind of Amoonguss going for Spore would be the big one, but also any other kind of setup. And again, Quick Guard is kind of like Upper Hand, but you again must speed creep opposing Incineroars because Quick Guard has the same priority. You must speed creep opposing Incineroars so that you can Quick Guard before their Fake Out. If you do that, you'll be perfectly fine. It just depends on how much speed creep you need for opposing Incineroars. But Scrafty has competition. Do you go Incineroar as your Fake Out Intimidate Pokemon? Most people, probably yes. Do you need the utility over the massive power of Single Strike Urshifu? Again, that's a question that's going to be team dependent.